I've made this video a couple of times because I wanted to figure out what was the most helpful way to talk about what's going on in the market and how it can help you out next week. And I think the big thing here is I'm going to talk about these charts exactly how they show up now, because we've already seen little moments here where some things we talked about in Saturday's video are starting to happen, where Trump is starting to say, hey, we're going to wind down this war. We'll go over that in a moment. But for now, I think the important thing here, the most helpful thing we can do for you here is talk about this yellow line, talk about decision making outside of that move, and then talk about highly probable scenarios for this week now that we have the updated weekly expected moves on our chart. So let's get into it. So I really want you to consider all the things from yesterday's video. I mean, I wish I could just, go through everything in yesterday's video and keep your attention and things like that. But I think the better thing to do is just say, hey, watch yesterday's video and then come back to this one, because a lot of the topics in there have to do with, well, Trump doing something like this, right? Isn't it funny? We go outside of a weekly expected move and we said full recovery, right? That's what people are wondering. Hey, is this some kind of track? Can we fully recover and go to new all-time highs? Well, that will really be dictated by the narrative going on, by the oil crisis that's going on, and it's going to need a resolution. And I even suggested a 99% to 100% resolution. A complete resolution is what sends you to new all-time highs. And now we see, right as you go outside of the monthly expected move, Trump says the U.S. is considering winding down the Iran war. We see President Trump, this is according to the New York Times, President Trump said in a social media post on Friday that the United States was considering winding down the war with Iran as it was getting very close to meeting its objectives. Now, I don't know what those objectives are. I like to think that pretty much everything that happens has to do with money, in my honest opinion. That's how I see this world right now. But we want to consider some things in this area. So we have updated levels for you. We're going to read those off, and then we're going to talk about decision making first. Then we'll get into potential moves using these weeklies and these dailies. We see 670.36 to the upside, 626.78 to the downside. That's your weekly 68% zone. Once again, your monthly zone is way up here, where you're 68% likely to close the month in here, 32% chance to close outside of those yellow lines. You're outside of it right now, so that's why we're going to talk about decision making. But first, daily expected moves right on that monthly 656.91 to the upside, 640.23 to the downside. So very simple. 68% chance here, 32% chance here. Okay, awesome. So is this a good area to start a bearish position? Well, no, you're outside of the high probable area at an extreme low. Yeah, there's no divergence down here, but your RSI is completely overbought. If I'm starting a position when an RSI is completely overbought, I'm below the monthly expected move where I'm likely to get some kind of bounce. That's kind of a bad set of behaviors that you need to fix, okay? Don't let these narratives get you going and things like that. Utilize the data in front of you. Trust the things that you are using. Sure, can you take a crash play right here and say, yeah, we're going to crash down on Monday? And can you be right? Yes, you can. But will that work for you in the long term? Well, considering that this area is 68% and this area is 32%, you would have to say no. You will slowly lose money over time, and you'll get one winner in there every once in a while that convinces you to keep losing money over time. So I just wanted to really put that out there, because this is one of the most helpful, simple things in the market. If I see a move that goes below the monthly expected move, any move really, then I should be considering, that I'm going to see some kind of bounce before I want to get into some kind of bearish position at that point. If I'm already late to the party, then why show up when everyone's leaving, So as of right now, I think that's a good thing. Now, the other side to that is if I was bearish, right? We went into a bearish trend. We went negative. We saw a cross down. We made a new low. Perfect little trade right there. We saw this cross through. We made a little low. Nice little trade right there. We saw this cross through. Look at that. We made another low. So you notice we're in negative territory here, and we keep crossing through and making those lows. But as of right now, if I was bearish this entire time, when would I start to, take my foot off the gas, right? Well, anytime you made that low, maybe we tagged a daily move here. You're like, take profit. Oh, another roll. Okay, go down to here, tag a daily move, take profit. Okay, see a bounce. But notice you're never starting a position at a low. You're always looking for some kind of bounce. And now you're outside of the monthly expected move. So if I held on to a bearish position this whole time, I'm in a decision-making area. This means that whatever decision I make here, I have to be able to live with. If I'm saying a stock market crash is going to happen, I'm up a ton of money and I want to make more, and I say, yeah, it's going to crash, so I'm going to hold on to this position, I have to understand and say it out loud. I am going to hold a position that is oversold on the 2-hour RSI, that is below the 68% zone for the month, that is at an extreme low during an extreme time where people are very, very bearish. The better thing to think about here is what made me successful was potentially shorting at highs with potential confirmations. That's the winner. So if we're going to bounce here, then that would really ruin me if I started a position at these lows, but also taking profit. Or what I like to do a lot of the time, if I have some kind of itch to hold on to something, is I still take a ton of profit and leave a few contracts, leave a few runners if I want to see that take place. Okay, we talked a lot about the monthly expected move. I wanted to do that in this video. I thought it would be pretty helpful for you, especially if you haven't utilized them before and you're starting to. That'd be a good thing. But now we have to actually get into what can happen next week, right? What do we see on this 2-hour MACD and what would it suggest? Well, do we see reversal signals on the MACD? No, you do not. Do you see it on the RSI? No, you do not. And utilizing our upward weekly expected move, 670.36 or even 620.678, we would say, hey, if this isn't going to cross up, but maybe the 30-minute gets some kind of move that fails, I can head all the way down to 626.78. If I'm going to get some kind of 2-hour move because Trump is out there saying that we're going to wind down the war, well, then what is the options market telling us? Well, if it's a surprise, I'll put out those 95% zones for you guys over on Patreon. I'll put that out. But as of right now, your weekly expected move is saying if no surprise happens, you could head all the way up to this level. And that could just be a 2-hour bounce where if you roll, you're very likely to still test this low and go make a new one. So even though the SPY is below that monthly expected move, I don't have a reversal signal at it. How would I want to see if the daily is going to get some kind of bounce? We talked about it yesterday. We talked about the fact that yesterday led into we could see a right shoulder. We could also see recovery. And we went over 2 of those scenarios. And how did those overall shape up, right? Well, in order to see either of those, you need to at least get a 2-hour divergence or a 2-hour higher low to get it started. So that's going to be very, very important. Oh, and thank you, Max, for subscribing. Maybe you were watching the previous video, but that will really help you out. And thank you, Max, for subscribing, because more people need to see this type of information. I really do appreciate it. So as of right now, your weekly expected move would say if the 2-hour crosses up, it can get to 670.36. Paying attention to if it takes out 675 and then pulls back, that can be your 2-hour higher low. But if we fall short before making that high, watch out, because this confirmation says, hey, we can roll to the downside and potentially make a divergence down at this area. But for now, you would say, I don't know if that divergence will form. So if I get confirmation that the 2-hour is rolling down on this MACD again, well, then I should expect to keep continuing to happen whatever was happening before, which is making new lows. So if the 2-hour is able to reject before making a new high, if the 2-hour rejects from that weekly expected move, you would look for a roll to see a deeper price than what we have now. And this makes a lot of sense when we look at the Qs. Now we're going to talk about why this makes a lot of sense when looking at the Qs. We're going to utilize our monthly expected moves again. We see weekly expected move here, 601.56 to the upside, 562.56 to the downside. A lot of volatility still. That's great. I love a little volatility. That's great. The 2-hour chart here, very important to understand. No divergence down here, no higher low, no reversal signal here, nothing. So if you want that full recovery, go check out that video from yesterday, because bam, you need to see a full resolution here. Because if you don't see full resolution, you can do a lot of things going into next week. So this week, you would really be watching for what? Something we can understand here is the Qs haven't tagged that monthly expected move. So let's do this for a second here. So we talked about this a little while back. We talked about it with the SPY and the Qs, right? We talked about the fact that the SPY and the Qs have their own moves. right? And if the SPY gets to that move very quickly, but the Qs aren't there yet, a lot of the time the SPY will hesitate or remain around that area or even break through that area to make a new low so that the Qs can have time to catch up and actually tag that level. I've seen that happen so many different times. I mean, if you really want to consider it, IWM tagged its monthly expected move. A week later, the SPY tagged its expected move, and maybe a week later, the Qs will. But this is a very easy point here. If I see the Qs roll, we technically have not gone down to the monthly expected move yet. So if I see a 2-hour roll, then I should expect us to potentially go down to that level. What does that mean? That means if we see some kind of counter bounce here, which you have no 30-minute divergence, you have no 30-minute high or low as of right now, but if you get that and you fail to beat this high, carve out that higher low on the 2-hour, well, then you can reject, turn to the downside, and go all the way down to that monthly expected move, where there you would really be paying attention to divergence. But this is highly suggested by your MACD down here. Being at a negative reading with no reversal signals, you can get up to that center line just like we did right over here, where you crawl up to that center line and then you confirm back down, creating a potential new low as you go to the monthly expected move. So that seems to be highly probable. We'll have to see how this week shapes up. So make sure you're subscribed so that you can stick with us throughout the week as we give you updated daily expected moves every single day. But let's go check out IWM and talk about that potential right shoulder. Once again, the truth is IWM is outside of the monthly move. Once again, bearish plays hard to consider, right? It's hard to start a bearish position here. You would look more for the 2-hour rolls and things like that over in these areas, maybe even here. Maybe you waited on that. You took it, however you wanted to do it. But if I see IWM outside of the monthly expected move, I immediately am like, interesting. I don't want to get too bearish here. That's a monthly expected move. That's how I overall treat it. Daily expected moves for Monday, there 246.53 to the upside, 237.91, just so you have them. But you do have reversal signals forming here, not confirmed. A good thing, though, is utilizing the monthly move and saying, if I see reversal signals there, I'm definitely not starting some kind of put position. I might even start some kind of call position. So as of right now, IWM has not confirmed that, meaning that you have time to potentially react. IWM, if it confirms this signal, that's a triple divergence on your MACD, a very wonky, but divergence still there, very rough. Divergence was overall violated, and then now we're still holding that original point. So a wonky one, but it is by the monthly expected move. So what is this signal all suggesting for IWM as a whole? This signal, when confirmed, barring failure, we'll watch for that, but barring failure, it says there will be some kind of bounce here, is what IWM would say when confirming this on your MACD. It would say a daily move to the upside can happen. So what do we want to do? We want to look at this daily chart and go, okay, it is extremely negative, which means easy. I need to watch for a lower high. So what would that lower high look like? Well, if that lower high gives me this kind of shape, then that's not looking very good. That looks like we can head down and maybe even plummet into the floor, break these lows, and continue to bump our head along the way, and maybe even head down to the annual expected move, the lower side for IWM. I'm going to post those again to Patreon, and we'll give you those levels for the SPY at the end of this video. So this is what IWM is suggesting here, but the big learning opportunity from this is the monthly expected move and decisions to make around it. There were times to make money shorting throughout this, of course. I did not short anything in this market, right? I had to manage one bullish play at one point. I think I took a loss of about 20%, but that was voiced as a starter position. A starter position is never an amount of money that I'm even like caring about losing, but I still take it very seriously and manage it. But what is IWM saying here? It's saying bearish plays could get difficult. Watch out for a counter trend move in some way. And we have 2-hour divergences suggesting that counter move can be on the daily scale. So paying attention to that and watching for the daily roll will be a good thing. But I think utilizing IWM before we go look at the VIX is very cool. Let's go see what the VIX is saying to watch out for. And maybe it will help us a lot in saying, hey, how do I protect capital? What's a simple signal that I can utilize to protect my capital? Maybe just saying, hey, I'll sit on my hands or not take any kind of play. How do we see more volatility? How do we see more volatility? This is pretty simple. You look at VIX and you go like this. Hey, if the daily scale is ever able to curl up again here on this MACD, I don't want to be in calls. I don't want to be holding on to any position for upside when a downside signal is overall flashing red. But what do we see here? You know, that we see a MACD that's up into positive territory. We see it pretty damn high. So at any point, if that curls up while it's positive, that is when you are very probable to test this high and go make a new one. You want to know, right? You want to know, hey, how do we get up to 50? How do we see a big ass reading here? Well, what you would need to see is this curl up into positive territory. That can happen right away. That can happen in a couple of weeks. But as long as that is curling up into positive territory, this can be utilized as my risk factor. If we are going to see some kind of daily high or low, we could pull down to these areas and then curl back up into positive territory. And if that were to take place, and that's by the center line, you want to be very cautious when that's happening, especially if we haven't made a new all-time high with the squeeze, but instead it looks like a right shoulder. Is that highly probable? Well, according to this, early on in the week, you do have some form of reversal here. You do have a 2-hour divergence on your RSI, not on your MACD at the same time, but this is a signal that's suggesting it can happen. So how do we utilize this information, right? We'll look for any kind of volatility in this area and update you every single day of this week. But how do we utilize what VIX is saying? It's saying, hey, if I curl up again, right? Once again, if I do this, if I see a squeeze, a counter trend move, and then I curl up, what does it mean? It means the market becomes very, very risky. It means the market, or the VIX in this case, is at risk of testing this high, making a new one, which means that the SPY would be at that point right up in these areas and maybe curling to the downside, testing this low, potentially going to make a new one. And that's where the door to a flush is very much so open. So this is how we consider risk. We say, okay, we're taking information for the week. We're showing that the 2-hour divergences and things like that can form, right? Something like this can form, but at some point it looks like we're going to see a move like this, and if it does curl to the downside, then this is where I would be very careful. This is where I'd be careful taking bullish plays, and maybe we can utilize our weekly expected moves and monthly expected moves and things like that. But for now, you would just say, hey, if I get a daily roll into negative territory, right, keeping it simple, if I see this MACD curl to the upside and then reject down by that center line, well, then we are at risk of making a new low. We're at risk of seeing lower prices than what we've seen for the SPY so far. So that's a very good way to look at this market at this point. But let's refresh ourselves. Okay, what's very probable for this week? Well, according to the signals that we have at this moment, we have not seen the 2-hour higher low. We have not seen the 2-hour divergence, and the weekly expected move being in this area, not above this high. Judging by the information we have right now, you would look for some kind of bounce to get back in that zone and then potentially roll that move to go create a 2-hour divergence. Around that time, we will look for a 2-hour divergence, because a 2-hour divergence is what leads to the potential for a daily move to the upside. And is that daily move going to be a right shoulder? Is it going to be full recovery? We're going to have to watch that very carefully. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was overall helpful for you. That's the whole goal of this channel. If not in anything that I'm saying, I hope that you can at least utilize these weekly, daily, and monthly expected moves to make the best decisions, to put yourself in some kind of edge to make money in these markets. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Peace out.